Cloudsoft AMP is an enterprise-ready application management platform built on the foundation of Apache Brooklyn. AMP extends the autonomic management capabilities of Brooklyn, bundling a graphical blueprint composer, container services built on Kubernetes and Docker Swarm, a framework for continuous testing of application blueprints against a variety of clouds and platforms, and a rich modular UI. I'll show some of these features off with an enhanced 3-tier Node.js app that includes rules for network security. In my catalog, I have the application ready to go. And we can edit this. We have a graphical designer and a YAML editor. I'll use the YAML editor just to show the particular configuration for the network security that I'm referring to. So network security allows application designers to model their security requirements directly in blueprints, specifying security networks or groups to which entities belong, and the permitted access from network to network. AMP takes care of creating an implementation enforcing these restrictions using the mechanisms of the underlying cloud. So we have here our application. It looks very similar to before, but now we have these additional initializers, each one specifying network security customizer. Our 3-tier app has the load balancer on two networks, one called front end and one called public. Public is a special named network. It allows, or it exposes, the proxy HTTP port sensor to the public network. The front end network here is just a label. We have our dynamic cluster of Node.js servers. In this, each member here has membership of an app servers group, and it exposes each member's HTTP port to the front end. So this means that the Nginx entity or instance will be able to communicate with the Node.js application, forward traffic to it. Likewise, we need to allow ingress from the Node.js servers to the database, and that's again declared here. We have the database on the backend network, and it exposes the database port to members of app servers. You'll notice we haven't configured here the metrics port as something that's exposed, so no public access to that will be allowed. In fact, the only public access will be to the Nginx load balancer, which will proxy the traffic on. So let's deploy this. So when deploying to AWS, the implementation of the Network Security Customizer will use security groups. So our application is deploying much as before. With the AMP dashboard, we can call out particular features here on these cards should we wish. These are based on the sensors, so we could perhaps show the service state is starting. As more sensors are published on each of these components, we can add more widgets. The Network Security Visualizer here is a special entity included with the Network Security Customizer. If I open this app in the inspector, we'll see a fairly familiar view. The visualizer will present membership of each network as members are added and removed. So we see here we have our app servers and our backend network. The MariaDB is a member of that. The two Node.js servers are a member of the app servers. The management group is a special network, as much as public, reserved keywords. In order for AMP to monitor its the things it's provisioned, it needs to be able to connect to them. So there's a special group allowed to permit this. We can check out the app servers in the Network Security Visualizer. We can see what it's allowed access to. slightly difficult to read here, but we see the Node.js app servers can access the vanilla software process with ID F36, which is the database, on port 3306. Likewise, if we view the individual entities, we can get information on what they expose. We have this network security ingress. Here it just presents the security groups that have been created. So we could sign into the Amazon Web Console to confirm that only the specified rules have been allowed. The same CLI interface works with AMP as it does with Brooklyn, so we're still able to view our applications and control the app through the command line, much as we did previously. Since the AMP that I'm running is local, in order to demonstrate the network security rules having an effect, I'm going to just run a second application, a basic instance that we can use to test connectivity from a third location. So our main application has finished deploying, and as before we can verify that it's working. We see our app here. And since this AMP is the management, it should also be able to access the individual Node.js servers. So it uses this to pull out the metrics for the sensors. And our test server here is still starting. So it's provisioning in Software Amsterdam. We'll wait for that to complete. Our server has started. We can use the CLI to view the application. Let's find its SSH address, connect to it, and attempt to access the individual Node.js servers. So the first address, well, let's check the load balancer first. We have public access. A whole lot of output indicates yes. And now the node servers. So since we included network security rules, the security groups have not been configured to expose this publicly. And as we can see, the curl command is unable to connect and will eventually time out. The same is true if we attempt to connect to the database. Thus demonstrating how to declare network security rules in a simple manner in a blueprint.